Welcome to Cheat Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I was 54 years old, sitting on a balcony in Lisbon, drinking espresso that actually tasted like something, watching ships move slowly toward open water, when my ex-wife's perfect new life collided with every choice she had ever made. And I didn't have to do a single thing. I just had to be far enough away to watch it happen cleanly. But let me start at the beginning. Or near it. My name is Raymond Cole. And the moment I stopped loving my wife of 28 years was a Tuesday evening when she screamed at me over balsamic vinegar. Not metaphorically. Not as a last straw in a long argument about something real. She screamed, genuinely, theatrically, in front of dinner guests, because I had bought the wrong brand of balsamic vinegar. The wrong brand. At that precise moment, watching the faces of our guests arrange themselves into careful, polite blankness, something inside me went very quiet and very final. I was a commercial real estate developer in Denver. Good money. Respected in the community. Beautiful house in Cherry Creek that Catherine had decorated like a magazine spread because Catherine did everything like a magazine spread. From the outside, we looked perfect. From the inside, I had been suffocating for years. Catherine worked as a luxury real estate agent. She sold multi-million-dollar properties to tech executives and oil money. And somewhere along the way, somewhere between the marble countertops that had to be replaced with Italian marble from a specific quarry in Carrara that only 3 people in Colorado knew about, she started believing our life had to match the lifestyle she was selling. Nothing was ever enough. I stopped arguing around year 23. Started sleeping in my office around year 26. By year 28, I was living with a stranger who happened to share my last name and my mortgage. The heart attack came 3 months before I left. Minor, the kind that doesn't kill you, just whispers in your ear that the next one might. My cardiologist said the word stress 14 times in one appointment. I drove home that day, watched Catherine screaming into her phone about staging a property, and understood something with complete clarity. I could die in this house. And she wouldn't notice until my body was blocking her walk-in closet. I spent 6 months planning quietly, methodically, the way you plan anything that matters. My assets went into family trusts with my daughter Olivia as trustee. The properties were refinanced, layered with arrangements Catherine never knew existed, all legitimate, all strategic, all completely invisible unless you knew where to look. The house, the cars, the furniture, all hers. Along with the debt securing it all. I have 2 children. Olivia, 27, investigative journalist in Chicago, sharp as a blade, inherited my skepticism and her mother's persistence. She had seen through Catherine's performance years before I found the courage to leave. Then there was Jason, 24, junior investment banker in New York, smart kid, but he had bought his mother's version of reality so completely that Catherine's words came out of his mouth. Cold. Distant. Emotionally unavailable. Everything she had told him I was. The morning I left, Denver was still dark. I drove myself to the airport. Parked in long term. Didn't look back once. I left divorce papers under a salt shaker, my house keys on top, and a note that said, "Everything's yours. I'm gone." By the time Catherine woke up and found it, I was somewhere over the Atlantic, drinking terrible airplane coffee, feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Real peace. The kind that doesn't need to be performed. Now I wake up to church bells. I drink espresso that tastes like something. I walk along the Tagus River watching ships that are actually going somewhere. I paint. Badly, but honestly. I swim in the ocean. I have learned enough Portuguese to order wine and apologize for my terrible Portuguese. I hadn't spoken to Catherine since I left. Didn't check her social media. Didn't ask mutual friends. I already knew how it would play. She'd grieve for a week, rage for 2, then find someone new to fill the void. I was right. 4 months into Lisbon, a message came through Instagram from a college friend I hadn't spoken to since the 90s. Short, direct, the way good information usually arrives. "Hey, Raymond. Not sure if you care, but thought you should know. Catherine's getting married next month. Vineyard wedding in Napa. Guy named Kenneth Bradshaw. Owns a bunch of car dealerships. Take care, man." I read it twice. Set my phone down. Picked up my espresso. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I was curious. The way you're curious about a movie you walked out of halfway through. Kenneth Bradshaw. I knew the name. Flashy. Always at real estate industry events in suits that were trying just a little too hard. Drove a different luxury car every quarter like he was running a personal showroom. He'd flirted with Catherine at a charity gala 3 years earlier. I remembered because she'd laughed too loud at his jokes, the kind of laugh designed to be noticed. I opened her Instagram. Public, of course. Catherine lived for visibility. Engagement photos that looked like they cost 5 figures. Her in white. Him in navy. Both holding champagne against a sunset that was definitely photoshopped. Captions written by someone who had never actually read poetry. When you know. Finally found my forever. Some people are worth the wait. I scrolled through the comments. Friends congratulating her. Clients kissing up. A few brave souls asking about Raymond. Those comments had been deleted, but the gaps in the numbering gave them away. Then I saw the location. 7 Hills Vineyard. Napa Valley, California. Something clicked in my mind, cold and precise. I opened my files. Found a brochure from 15 years ago. 7 Hills Vineyard, investment opportunity. Catherine and I had driven up there once, back when we still did weekends. She'd hated it. Too quiet. Too rustic. I found the page I remembered. Section on event hosting. Technical specifications. And there in small print under acoustic engineering notes, outdoor venues may experience significant echo. Professional sound systems recommended for speeches and toasts. Test equipment advised. I sat back in my chair. Catherine was getting married at a vineyard with acoustics that could carry a whisper across 100 yards. And she had just made it public knowledge, complete with venue details and a hashtag. I picked up my phone and called an old friend named Richard Pellier who owed me a favor from 2015. I explained what I needed. Not much, just a name added to a vendor list. 1 guest. Clean background. Legitimate reason to be there. Richard was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed, low and understanding. You know what, Raymond, he said. I think I can help you with that. Olivia called 2 days later. No greeting. She never wasted words on greetings. I saw Mom's Instagram. The wedding. Kenneth Bradshaw. You know about this. I know, I said. And I'm fine. Better than fine. Your mother's choices aren't my concern anymore. Silence. Then, Jason's going. Standing up as a groomsman. Kenneth asked him personally. Mom played it as this big honor. Blending families. New beginnings. Jason bought it completely. I set my coffee down. And you? I got an invitation. Very formal, very Catherine. I sent my regrets. She paused. Dad, I've been doing some digging on Kenneth Bradshaw's dealerships. Something's not right. His financial disclosures are clean, but the pattern's wrong. His expansion timeline doesn't match his revenue reports. He opened 3 new locations in 18 months. That requires serious capital. His credit lines are maxed. I think he's been using new investor money to pay old debts. Classic pyramid structure. How long until it collapses? 3 months. Maybe 4. There's also a lawsuit from a former business partner claiming fraud. Being kept quiet, but I found the court filings. Does your mother know? Of course not. She sees the cars, the properties, the lifestyle. She never looks under the hood. Olivia's voice went harder. Dad, Jason's tied to this. If Kenneth goes down publicly, it'll splash on everyone associated with him. His bank won't appreciate their junior analyst being connected to a fraud case. What are you thinking? I'm thinking someone should make sure the right information surfaces at the right time, before Jason gets in deeper. She paused. I'm flying out to Napa. I told Mom I changed my mind, that I want to support her new beginning. I was quiet. Olivia. Dad, Jason's my brother. He's being an idiot, but he's my idiot. If this wedding's going to be memorable, I want to make sure he sees what's really happening before it's too late. Be careful, I said. Always am. I could hear the smile in her voice. Oh, and Dad. That favor you called in with Richard Pellier. The caterer. Clark Witherby +1. Very subtle. She laughed. I like it. Old school. Elegant. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, I said. Sure you don't. Love you, Dad. Love you too, sweetheart. Jason called 3 days before the wedding. We hadn't spoken since I left. He'd sent one email, cold, short, disappointed in how I'd handled things. No questions. No curiosity about my side. Just judgment wearing Catherine's vocabulary. I answered anyway. His voice was formal. The voice he probably used with clients. I'm calling because I think you should know. I'm standing up at Mom's wedding. Kenneth asked me personally. Olivia mentioned that. He sounded surprised. She's coming too. Changed her mind last minute. He paused. Kenneth's a good guy, Dad. Successful. Treats Mom right. He's everything she deserves. The words hung in the air between us. Everything she deserves. I bit down on my first response. Chose carefully. I'm glad your mother's happy, I said. Truly. Are you? Because it seems like you just bailed. Walked away from everything. From us. I walked away from a marriage that was killing me, Jason. Not from you or your sister. You left a note on the counter like you were quitting a job. I stood up. Started pacing. Your mother and I were together 28 years. 23 of those years I was trying to be enough. Trying to meet standards that changed every time I got close. I had a heart attack. Minor but real. The doctor told me stress was going to finish what genetics started. So I made a choice. By running away. By saving my own life. And if you think that's weakness, then your mother taught you well. He was quiet. New York traffic bleeding through the line. Jason, I said softer. I know Kenneth. Not well, but enough. When you're standing up there watching your mother get married, pay attention. Not to what people say. To what they don't say. What's that supposed to mean? It means the best investors ask questions. They verify. They look at fundamentals, not just performance. You're good at that. Don't stop doing it just because it's family. I don't need career advice, Dad. I'm not talking about your career. I'm talking about your judgment. Kenneth Bradshaw's built something very impressive. Ask yourself how. Ask yourself if the math adds up. You're trying to poison this. I'm trying to protect you. There's a difference. He was silent for a long moment. Then, I have to go. Rehearsal dinner. Jason. The line went dead. I set my phone down and looked out over Lisbon. My son was angry. My daughter was packing her bag. And somewhere in Napa Valley, a man named Clark Witherby was preparing to become the most important guest nobody remembered inviting. The wedding was beautiful. Olivia sent photos. Catherine in ivory. Kenneth in a custom tuxedo. The vineyard draped in white fabric and flowers. Everything perfect. Everything staged. Everything exactly as designed. Olivia's texts came through during the reception, clipped and precise. Speeches starting. Catherine's maid of honor cried on cue. Kenneth's brother made a joke about expensive taste. Everyone laughed. Jason's up next. Jason's toast was exactly what I expected. The subtext was clear. I was the past, the failure, the thing they'd all moved beyond. When he said, "May your future be as bright as your past is forgotten," I understood who the past was. I was the past. Applause. Clinking glasses. Then Olivia's text. "Clark's up now. Here we go." My phone rang. Olivia's voice. Urgent. Tight. "You need to hear this. I'm recording." She held up her phone and the reception came through. The ambient sounds of 200 people at a vineyard, glasses and low conversation, and then a voice. Older. Measured. The kind of voice that makes people put down their drinks and listen. "Good evening, everyone. My name is Clark Witherby, and I've known the Bradshaw family for many years." The lie landed with perfect confidence. I wanted to take a moment to celebrate this union, but also to speak about something important. Truth. The reception quieted. I could hear it through the phone, that specific silence of a room that has just realized something is happening. "Catherine, you look absolutely radiant. Kenneth, You've clearly made quite an impression." He paused. "I've been in business a long time. Seen a lot of deals, a lot of partnerships. And the ones that last are built on solid foundations. Not appearances. Not promises. Foundations." Another pause. Longer. "So I want to propose a toast to Catherine and her second chance at happiness. And to Raymond, wherever he is tonight. Probably somewhere quiet. Probably painting. Probably finally able to breathe." His voice carried across that vineyard like it was designed to. "Catherine, I hope you're sure you traded up, darling. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you might have traded solid ground for quicksand." Dead silence. The kind that makes oxygen feel thick. But hey, what do I know? I'm just an old man who believes in asking questions. Like, how does someone open 3 dealerships in 18 months without traditional financing? Or why does a successful businessman need to restructure his credit lines every quarter? Or, what happens when the music stops and everyone's looking for a chair? I could hear movement. Confusion. Someone trying to reach the microphone. "Anyway," Clark said, wrapping up smoothly, to the happy couple. "May your forever be louder than your past. And may you both get exactly what you deserve." Then the line went chaotic. Voices overlapping. Music starting up suddenly, too loud, trying to cover the wreckage. Olivia came back breathless. Holy hell. Catherine just ran out. Kenneth's face is purple. Jason looks like he's been hit by a truck. Half the room is on their phones. My phone buzzed in my hand. Another call coming through. Catherine's name on the screen. A number I had deleted, but still recognized. I switched lines. "You." Her voice hit me before I could speak, shaking with a specific kind of rage that comes from humiliation witnessed by 200 people. "You had someone crash my wedding. You set this up. You planted that man." "I have no idea what you're talking about," I said. "I'm in Portugal. Don't lie to me." "That speech, those questions, that was you. Was it? Or was it just someone asking questions that should have been asked months ago?" She was breathing hard. I could picture her, ivory gown, perfect makeup, standing outside in the vineyard air with her world unraveling around her in real time. "You're a coward," she said. "You always were. Couldn't face me yourself. Sent a hired gun to ruin my day. Your day isn't ruined because of me, Catherine. It's ruined because you built it on sand and called it bedrock. I hate you. I know. But that's not my problem anymore." I kept my voice calm. "Go back to your wedding. Smile for the cameras. Do what you do best. Perform." She made a sound, halfway between a sob and a scream. Then the line went dead. I set my phone down. Looked out over Lisbon. The city lights were reflecting on the river like stars that had fallen and decided to stay. Across the Atlantic, my ex-wife's perfect wedding had just become unforgettable. And somewhere in that vineyard, my son was beginning, finally, reluctantly, necessarily, to ask the questions he should have asked months ago. Truth doesn't need permission to speak. It just needs good acoustics and perfect timing. The video hit the internet within hours. Someone at the wedding, probably one of the younger guests, had recorded Clark's entire toast and uploaded it to TikTok. By morning Lisbon time, 500,000 views. By evening, over 3 million. The caption read, "Savage wedding toast destroys bride. Wait for the ending." The comment section was merciless and creative. Someone froze Catherine's face at the exact moment Clark said traded up, zoomed in, slowed down, and it became a meme within 24 hours. Her expression, that smile collapsing like a controlled demolition, appeared on Reddit and Twitter and Instagram. People used it to illustrate regret, bad decisions, instant karma. A creative soul edited the Titanic sinking scene with Catherine's face on the ship. Her real estate firm started getting calls. Clients asking questions. Olivia sent links. I scrolled through them with a detached observation of a man watching consequences arrive on schedule. No satisfaction. No guilt. Just the quiet acknowledgement of physics operating exactly as designed. Then Jason called. His voice was different. Smaller. "Kenneth's dealerships are being audited. The lawsuit Clark mentioned, it was filed yesterday. Former partner claiming Kenneth used investor money to cover personal debt. The banks are freezing his assets. He paused. My firm called me in. Asked about my relationship with Kenneth. Asked if I had any knowledge of his financial situation before the wedding. His voice broke slightly. They're putting me on administrative leave. Pending investigation. They said my judgment is compromised. I'm sorry, son. Are you? Because you knew. You knew this was coming and you let me walk into it anyway. I warned you. Told you to look at the fundamentals. You called it sabotage. You could have told me directly. Instead of planted guests and cryptic warnings. Would you have listened? I asked. If I'd called and said Kenneth Bradshaw is a fraud, would you have believed me? Or would you have defended your mother and called me bitter? Silence. Long and heavy. I don't know, he finally said. Maybe you're right. Maybe I wouldn't have. He exhaled. Shaky. Olivia's been helping me. She pulled all the public records. Showed me everything. The lawsuits, the foreclosures, the pattern going back 3 years. It was all there. I just didn't want to see it. Your mother has that effect on people. She makes you want to believe her version of reality. She's not talking to me, Jason said quietly. I tried to call her. She said I was betraying her. That I was choosing your side. Then she hung up. Kenneth Bradshaw's dealerships filed for bankruptcy 3 weeks after the wedding. The lawsuit became public record. Investor fraud. Embezzlement. Creative accounting that made serious people in serious suits use words like egregious in federal filings. The news coverage was extensive. Catherine's name was in every article. Wife of disgraced businessman. Luxury real estate agent married to fraud suspect. Her firm quietly asked her to take a leave of absence. Client calls dropped 70% in a week. Olivia called. Mom's being sued. Kenneth's creditors found out she received gifts and transfers during their brief marriage. They're claiming she benefited from stolen investor money. Kenneth bought her a car 2 weeks before the wedding. $40,000, cash, from an account funded by investor capital. Legally, she's liable. How much are they asking for? $280,000. Plus legal fees. She paused. She doesn't have it. The house you left her. Remember all those refinances you arranged before leaving? The house is worth less than what's owed. She can't sell without taking a loss. She can't borrow against it. She's trapped. What about Kenneth? Kenneth disappeared. His lawyers can't find him. Speculation he fled somewhere without extradition. She laughed, short and sharp. Mom married him 6 months ago. Now she's alone with his debts and a viral video that plays every time someone Googles her name. Has she asked for help? She called Jason first. He's dealing with his own career fallout. Then she called me. Asked if I could loan her money. What did you say? No. Olivia's voice was steady. I told her she raised me to verify facts before making decisions. That she should have verified Kenneth before marrying him. How did she take it? She hung up. Then texted that I'm just like you. Cold, calculating, incapable of real love. Olivia paused. I took it as a compliment. I smiled despite myself. How's your brother? Better. His firm took him off administrative leave after 2 weeks. Determined he had no actual knowledge of the fraud. But his reputation took a hit. Reassigned to a smaller division. Less visibility. It'll take years to rebuild trust. He'll do it, I said. He's learning to ask questions he should have asked years ago. He is, she agreed. And Dad, there's one more thing. The viral video. It's being used in business schools now. As a case study in due diligence failures. How not to evaluate a partner. Mom's wedding is literally being taught as an example of what happens when you prioritize image over substance. That's unfortunate. Is it? She spent decades building her life on appearances. Now everyone can see what happens when the foundation isn't real. I think it's justice. 8 months after the wedding, things settled into a new shape. Kenneth Bradshaw was indicted on 17 counts of investor fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. Catherine sold the house at a significant loss and moved into a small apartment in a neighborhood she used to call transitional. Her real estate license was suspended, pending ethics investigation. Jason called me every Sunday. We talked for an hour, sometimes more. He was rebuilding slowly, humbled, careful, asking questions he had never thought to ask before. "I'm learning," he said during one call. "Not just about finances. About people. About myself." One Sunday he told me he was dating someone. Her name was Amy. A teacher. Nothing glamorous. Nothing performed. "She's just real," he said. When I told her about everything, the wedding, Mom, all of it, she didn't judge. She just asked if I learned from it. "Smart woman," I said. "She is." "Dad, I want to come to Lisbon. I want to see where you live. Understand what you built after leaving." We set dates. Olivia came 2 weeks after Jason. She and the woman I had met, Isabel, 50, Portuguese, owner of a small bookshop near the Alfama district, who had recommended Portuguese poetry when I came looking for English novels, bonded immediately. 2 women who valued substance over performance. No pretense between them within the first 10 minutes. "She's a keeper," Olivia told me later. "Don't screw it up." "I'll try not to." She looked at me with her mother's eyes and my instincts. "You got something real here. Something Mom never gave you. Actual partnership." 3 months later, Jason called with news. Promoted. His firm recognized his rebuilt judgment, his careful approach, his new habit of verifying everything. "They said I'm the most thorough analyst they have," he told me, pride clear in his voice. "Because I trust nothing at face value anymore. I learned that the hard way, but I learned." One evening, Isabel and I were sitting on the balcony. The sun was going down over the Tagus, painting everything amber and rose. She was reading Portuguese poetry aloud, translating passages for me. I was sketching her profile, badly, but honestly. "You know what I love about you," she said. "Tell me." "You're present. Completely present. Not performing. Not planning 3 moves ahead. Just here. Took me 54 years to learn that. Better late than never." She reached for my hand. Then my phone buzzed. "Jason." Amy said yes. "We're engaged. Can we have the wedding in Lisbon? Small, real, just people who matter. Could you and Isabel help plan it?" I showed Isabel the message. She smiled, eyes bright, completely genuine. "Tell him yes," she said. "Tell him we'd be honored." I typed back, "Congratulations, son. Lisbon sounds perfect. We'll make it beautiful. The right kind of beautiful." His response came immediately. "Thanks, Dad. For everything. For showing me what real strength looks like. I love you." I set the phone down. Looked at Isabel. At the river. At the city I had chosen and that had chosen me back. I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop. Wasn't planning an exit. Wasn't bracing for the next performance, the next standard I'd fail to meet, the next version of myself that wouldn't be enough. I was just living. Fully, honestly, on solid ground. She screamed at me over balsamic vinegar and I stopped loving her. I left a note under a salt shaker and flew over the Atlantic. And I found out, at 54 years old, that it is never too late to build something real. It just requires the courage to walk away from everything that isn't. Thank you for watching.